In June 1944, the Pacific War had reached a breaking point. The United States was gaining momentum, pushing closer and closer to Japan, and now Marines were going ashore at the Mariana Islands. To stop the U.S. advance, Japan committed the centerpiece of its remaining naval strength, the mobile fleet, 9 carriers, several battleships and cruisers, alongside dozens of destroyers, poured into the Philippine Sea under Vice Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa. Their goal was to engage and defeat the U.S. Fast Carrier Task Force in a decisive battle that would inflict such severe losses that the United States would sue for peace. Hoping for a repeat of its stunning victories of the early 1940s, the Imperial Japanese Navy was not the same force that had struck Pearl Harbor. Its veteran aviators were gone, lost at Midway, the Solomons, and Rabaul, and in their place stood hastily trained replacements with barely any flight hours and little combat experience. Worse, Japan's plan had been compromised months earlier when Admiral Manichi Koga's plane crashed in the Philippines, allowing Allied intelligence to recover Japan's entire strategy. Against this weakened force stood the U.S. Fifth Fleet under the command of Admiral Raymond Spruance and its striking arm, Task Force 58, led by the aggressive Admiral Mark Mitcher. 15 carriers, staffed by combat-hardened pilots, formed one of the most formidable naval aviation forces the world had ever seen. On June 19, 1944, the Japanese launched their first strike, hundreds of planes arcing through the morning sky. American radar picked them up early as fighters from carriers like Enterprise and Lexington raced to intercept. The Japanese pilots never had a chance. American aircraft tore through their formations, and those who managed to slip past the fighters were met with walls of proximity-fused anti-aircraft fire. Japanese planes fell from the sky in clusters. One pilot from Lexington, returning from the melee, described the slaughter. "Hell, this is like an old-time turkey shoot," and the nickname stuck. 4 major waves of Japanese strikes were launched that day. Each met the same fate. By nightfall, over 300 Japanese aircraft had been destroyed, a crippling loss that effectively ended Japan's carrier operations. American losses stood at a fraction of that number. While the battle in the air raged above, American submarines hunted below. USS Albacore found and torpedoed the Japanese flagship Taiho, Ozawa's newest and most powerful carrier. Hours later, USS Kavala struck Shokaku, one of the last carriers at Pearl Harbor, and sent her to the bottom. With 2 carriers gone and their air groups annihilated, Japan's ability to mount further strikes evaporated. On June 20th, the United States seized the initiative. Late in the afternoon, Mitcher ordered a long-range attack against the retreating Japanese fleet, knowing his pilots would have to return in darkness with dangerously low fuel. More than 200 American planes found the Japanese fleet, sinking the light carrier Hio and damaging several other ships. The return was its own ordeal. Low on fuel, pilots searched for carriers in darkness. Mitcher made a risky call and ordered every ship to turn on its lights, illuminating the sea in a glowing beacon visible for miles. Destroyers also fired star shells to outline the fleet. Even so, 80 planes ditched or crashed attempting to land. The scale of the American victory was unmistakable. The Imperial Japanese Navy had lost 3 carriers and nearly all their remaining trained pilots. It was a defeat from which Japan could not recover. Most Japanese carriers would spend the rest of the war in port. The Battle of the Philippine Sea marked the end of Japanese carrier aviation, and the moment the United States seized uncontested control of the Pacific skies. 4 months later at Leyte Gulf, Japan would commit its carriers to battle once more, but as decoys that launched almost no aircraft. Their air wings died in the Philippine Sea,